श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः हरि ओम सर्वेभ्यः नमस्कारः प्रार्थनां करिष्यामः let's record this ॐ योऽन्तः प्रविश्य मम वाचमिमां प्रसुप्तां सञ्जीवयत्यखिलशक्तिधरस्वधाम्ना अन्यांश्च हस्तचरणश्रवणत्वगादीन् प्राणान् नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यम् वागर्थाविव सम्पृक्तौ वागर्थप्रतिपत्तये जगतः पितरौ वन्दे पार्वती परमेश्वरौ वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम् ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये नमः सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं हरिः ओम् श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ओम् सर्वेभ्यः सुस्वागतम्। गतसप्ताहे किञ्चित् विशेषान् दृष्टवन्तः अस्माकं सनातन धर्म विषये. We saw certain basic concepts of Sanatana Dharma and we said, okay, these are the tenets of it and this is how things come into play. So we saw that what are in play and what are not in play, and we also concluded that not everything that we know is all that is there. Right? We are constrained by the five Nanendriyas that are there and the manas that processes this. So that was the basic tenet of what we drew up. And we said, there are things beyond this. Now, how much is beyond this is a question that will come up. Now, the Purusha Sukta answers this very beautifully. It says, Padosya asya bhutani tripadasyat amritan divi. Padosya vishwa bhutani tripadasyamritan divi. That is the Rig Veda mantra. That is both there in Rig Veda and Yajurveda. Purusha Sukta, anybody, if anybody has heard Purusha Sukta, you will get to know this. Now, usually, of course, that's why Sanskritam is very important to know what it means. What is the contextual meaning there? Pada is usually taken as for legs. Now, pada also means parts. So it says, Padaha asya vishwa bhutani. The world that is known to you is one part. Tripadaha syat amritan divi. There are three more parts which are probably unknown to you, but which exist. Okay. So our understanding is only 1/4 of what we know. Padosya vishwa bhutani tripadasya amritan dive tripadurdva udait purusha. That goes on. Okay, so if we leave that out for a minute, it goes on into saying that there are only 1/4 of what is actually existing. I'm talking of only the existential world. Is known to a human being. Is known to you. Tripadaha syat amritan divi. So that is the basic conclusion that we came up with last week as well. That said that, there are things that are beyond. How much is sort of quantified in this Purusha Sukta there. Okay. So now what we are now going to do is, maybe I should just move on. Let's see a few shlokas, couple of shlokas, then we'll get into what it means, what is life and what is life beyond. Okay. So we saw this. Share this. So we saw this Vayasigate Kaha Kama Vikarah, Shushke Nire Kaha Kasarah, Shine Vitte Kaha Parivarah, Yate Tatve Kaha Samsarah. Once you know everything, once you know even though that 3/4, then what is samsara? It's all beyond. Okay, I have known everything. So that is the concept that we drew from there. And then said, of course, we saw this. I just brought all these things and then we went on to do, we saw the Maslow's hierarchy and then the Indian paradigm, etc., etc. I just drew up some frameworks. Let's go to the 11th shloka now and see what it says. Okay. Says, Ma kuru dhana jana yavvana garvam harati nimesha kalas sarvam maya mayamidam akhilam kheditvam brahmapadam tvam pravisha vedetvam idam akhilam. That should be. Mayam ayam idam akhilam hitva. Okay, it's not idam. Brahmapadam tvam pravisha vedetva. It's a very straightforward shloka, as with all shlokas that we have been seeing, but the depth is very different. So it's like ma kuru, don't do something. What should you not do? Dhana jana yavvana garvam. What is it that we have so much of pride that can bring us? One is dhana. I am so rich, so I can get everything. The second thing is, I have so many people working under me. I am the master of so much. That is one garva that we can have. Yavvana. I am youth. Nothing can happen to me. I'll never fall ill. We have all gone through these phases. We all go through it day in and day out. Okay. Just don't take things, that it's always everlasting kind of a thing. Harati nimeshat kalaha sarvam. Sarvam kalaha sarvam harati. Correct. As time passes, it goes on. I'll bring that. Beautiful mantra is there. Shwagniva kratnurvijamina martasya devi jarayant yayuhu. I'll show you that mantra today from Rigveda. Mayam ayam idam akhilam hitva. Brahmapadam tvam pravisha viditva. So, you understand this is all a play of some maya that is being played out. All the pride that you have can always be taken away in an instant, instantaneously taken away. Nimeshat kalaha sarvam. Nimesha, the word nimesha, yes, I'll bring that kala. Probably next time or some other time. When we are discussing kala again, I'll bring up the whole, what nimesha means. Nimesha is not a minute. Nimesha is a fraction of a second in this context. So we have a beautiful thing. Bhagavata gives it it goes from 10 to the power minus 6 seconds till I think 10 to the power 17 years. That is the kind of timeline that we have developed in this country. Okay. So 1 day of Brahma comes to about 3 point some 100 years. Yeah, it goes to some trillions of years. I'll bring that sometime. I have the full calculation. I just did it some time back. Okay. I did it for that book, the second book that we are bringing out on Bhagavad Gita. I just did that. Okay. So he says, let all these be Brahmapadam tvam pravisha. You give up everything and take the Sharanagati. The Sharanagati bhava is very important. That's what it is saying. So of course, if you want some Vyakarna Vishesha Pashyama, Dhana Jana Yavvana Garva Ma Kuru. Kalaha Sarvam Nimeshat Harati. In a second, in a fraction of a second, everything can go. Okay. All that you need for something to go, for you to be disturbed and all the joy that you are having to be taken away is here one small news that is not conducive to the mind. That's all. No, we don't need anything more to disturb us. Mayam ayamidam akhilam hitva tam brahma padam veditva pravisha. Okay. Dana bandhu balena. I have so many people working with me that if you have that this one, that is a very difficult thing. Kalaha kshanamatra tharati maya lokam. So pretty much everything is a very straightforward thing. This dhana jana yavvana garvam is a single word. Okay. Dhanam cha janam cha yavvanam cha garvam. That's the samasta padam. So if you can split it as dhanancha, janancha, yavvanancha, garvam. Makuru. Okay. So all other things are straightforward. There is nothing much. This one, there is an apadana. Taking away. Kala goes away like this. That's this one. Tvam dhana bandhu balena yuvatvena cha garvam ma karshihi. Dhanadishu ahankara tyaja ityartha. Yataha kalaha dhana janadikam yetat sarvam kshanamatrat eva harati. Idam sarvam maya prayuktam iti gyatva sarvam parityajya brahmapadam vigyaya pravisha. This Sharanagati Bhava is a very, very deep concept. Surrendering to anything. See, surrendering when you do not have anything else to do, you are afraid. It's a very different concept. You don't have a choice. But when you have a choice, yet you give up. You don't give up. You give in and say, please take care. I am all yours. That is a very, very, very difficult thing to do. I'm sure all of us have been through that. And that's why they say no, there's a very beautiful saying. Quit when you are at your peak. Quit does not mean give up and run away. Quit means surrender. Don't take the results to be your own. So that is a very, very important thing to do. Okay, that Sharanagati Bhava is what Acharya is saying here. We'll see one more, which is, this is a beautiful one. Dinaya minyau sayam pratah shishiravasantav punarayatah kalah kridati gacchati ayuh tadapi namunchati ashavayu. Anybody can split this? Dina yaminyau. Want to try? What Dina yaminyau means? Anybody want to?
Dvivachanam.
Yes, it is Dvivachanam. Correct.
So you know Dina.
Yaminyau is Yanasandhi?
No, it's Dvivachanam.
No, it's Dvivachanam.
It's Sayam evening and Pratah morning.
No, I want this one, only this one.
Dina Yaminyau, Yaminyau is Dina Yaminyau, there is for Yanasandhi, is it for Yasandhi?
No. There is no Yanasandhi here. Yes, Srividya Mahodaya vadato.
Dinam cha Yamini.
Dinam cha Yamini cha. Dina Yamini अर्थात किम? Yaminyaha artha ka. What is the meaning of Yamini?
Would it be night?
Yeah. Actually, we have a beautiful, at IIM Bangalore, we have
night
one.
Is Yamini?
Yeah, night is Yamini. So we have a concert called Yamini. It starts at 6 in the evening and goes on till 6 in the morning. So there's a very famous artist come they perform for 2.5 hours. So it goes on every 25th of January night till 26th of January morning. It's called Yamini. because it is night. Dina Yamini. So Dinaya Minyau. So I can Dina cha Yamini cha. Dinaya Minyau. Sayan cha Prataha cha. Same thing. Shishiraha Vasantaha. Shishira Vasantau. Punaha Ayataha. It keeps coming and going. No? On and on. Here it is Yadasandhi, what you said. Gachati Ayuhu. Gachati Ayuhu. Tadapira Munchati Asha Vayu. This is again Yadasandhi. Munchati Asha Vayu. Okay. Ayataha Gachati Munchati. Very straightforward thing. See, day and night keep coming and going. Correct, no? Nothing very. This one. Shishira and Vasanta also keep coming and going. But have we ever said these keep coming and going and our age is also taken away? But have our desires or anything that we want to do come down? It changes. See, there's a difference between changing versus coming down. What I wanted to do as a 4-year-old child may not be the same thing I want to do as a 40-year-old person. But the thing is that what was there, the quantum of things that were there at 4-year-old as compared to what is there at 40-year-old, it is a change. It is not that it is decreased in any measure. If you want to put a measure of, okay, these are my thoughts as a 4-year-old, these are my thoughts as a 40-year-old, you can make a comparison. You can start. You can even start at any point in time. You can start and do 1 year down. What is it happening? How is it going? So that is what Acharya is saying. So you don't have any time. See, everything is going away. So it's like telling children, no, that better study now, otherwise you'll be useless. So time will go away, time and tide wait for none, all these concepts. Right? So this is what Acharya is saying. So Dinayam Inyo, I just Ahaha Nishacha. Sayam, evening, Prata, morning, Shishira Vasantaha cha. Yata Yate comes and goes, Ayataha. It keeps playing Ayuhu. Okay. So that's what it's saying. Ahaha Nishacha Puna Chakredam Miva Agachata Gachata cha. Evam Sayam Prata Shishira Vasantau cha Yata Yate Krutaha. Kalaha Leelam Karoti. Tena sa Ayuhu api Gachati. Tathapi Trishna Vayuhu. Our thirst, I explained what is Trishna once. No? Unquenchable desires. We don't give up that, no? So that is one, that is the essence of what he is saying. Okay. So now I want everyone to reflect on this. There are two key things that Acharya brings out. See, this Asha Vayu not going is also an essential part of life. But we wanting to get out of it is also a part of our process. See, that is where the Dvandva lies, no? We all want to get out of something, but still we are there with it. Is that a Dvandva? Does it appear like, as a pair of opposites and a pair of, this likes and dislikes, not doing, etc., etc., etc. Does it appear like something that is a sort of oxymoronic thing?
Oxymoron. Yeah, it's oxymoron.
Everything here is an oxymoron, Dvandva. Night and day.
Okay.
So
in which case, why is it existing? Why should it be there? I mean, it could have been just be one of those, no?
Then the other doesn't exist. Without the opposite.
So what?
when one ceases to exist, only the other one comes. So also he's telling that if we lose the asha in our life, only the moksha will come.
Okay, let's say we give up that whole concept of moksha. If only this one is there, so what?
So two things cannot exist at the same time.
No, it can. That's exactly what is happening, right? You are having a concept where we are chasing a lot of the material wealth. So, is there a need to do that? That is the question.
We all want to do that. We don't perceive it To that extent. We
Ah,
want
so
both to exist.
we
That's
want,
the Dvandva
no,
we want.
Dvandva we want. Okay, there is
Yes.
a Dvandva, there is a non-Dvandva part. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see what Acharya Shankara himself says.
Yeah.
Okay, that's very important. So Acharya Shankara has said this beautifully in his what is called the preamble for Bhagavad Gita. As probably as my guru has been explaining, that's the only place where he's written a preamble. In that preamble, he makes a very profound statement. What does he say? Vivido hi vedokto dharmaha. Whatever Veda has been saying, there are only two forms of that dharma. Pravritti lakshanaha, nivritti lakshanaha cha. Okay. Jagataha sthiti karanam. The world can exist only when there is pravritti lakshana as well as nivritti lakshana. So essentially, it's a chariot with two horses. So even if one horse is not doing its job properly, that means you are not going in the right. You are not keeping up to pace. Correct. Both of them have to be ridden simultaneously. That's the concept Acharya is bringing out. This is a very profound statement. And he does not stop there. He says, Praninam sakshat abhyudayaha nishreyasaha hetuhu. It is not, it is Sakala Jivarashi. It is not human. He didn't say Naranam or he did not say Manushyanam, nothing like that. He said, Praninam sakshat abhyudayaha nishreyasa hetu jagataha sthiti karanam pravritti lakshanaha cha nivritti lakshanaha cha. Both of them are needed. Abhyudaya is also needed. Going after material wealth is also as equally important as going after Nishraya. So, this when we are not getting the material wealth in the way we seek it, we say, probably I should give up, I should run towards the Nishrayas. Probably it's not for me. I'll take the Nishrayas marga. No, that doesn't work. Sorry. Sannyasa, you cannot run after sannyasa. Sannyasa has to run after you and it has to take you. So that is what it comes down to. Yes, Parvati Mudevada.
What's the meaning of Abhyudaha and Nishreyasa?
Abhyudayaha, Abhyudayaha. Material well-being, not just material. It can be meaningful well-being.
Okay. And Nishreyasa?
Nishreyas is going after something where you are in tranquility without needing anything. You see the conflict here? At one level, you want everything should be there. But you want to be in tranquility without having to use any of these. Nishreyas is that part.
And also Pravritti Lakshana and Nivritti.
Pravritti is progress. Progress comes from the word Pravritti.
Okay. And Nivritti?
Nivritti is retirement, going away from it.
Okay. Dhanyavad.
See, this is like, so does this sound like sort of a, conflicting statement?
Contradicting statements.
Contradicting statements? Very contradicting, no?
Yeah.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. I have a lot of people who are very senior here. So suppose you want to retire. Can you retire without working? When does retirement happen?
Retire from what? From work?
I was going to ask exactly the same. From what?
Anything. You want to retire from if you are a housewife, homemaker, whatever. You say, I want to retire from that. Can you retire from anything without having gone through it?
No.
Okay. Let us say somebody is sitting at home doing nothing. Okay. Can that person claim, I am going to retire as a school teacher?
No, not a teacher.
You cannot say that, no?
No.
Only if you are a school teacher, you can say at some point, I'm going to retire. Can you say I'm going to retire? I'm going to retire as the Prime Minister of India. What is the necessary qualification for that?
You have to
first
be a Prime
held the
Minister.
post.
You should be able to, you should first hold the post. If you're not holding the pause, there is no way of retiring.
Correct.
This is how it is resolved, by the way. You have to go through the pravritti, and the nivritti automatically comes at some point, because it's a matter of time. That's about it. So both of them are actually essential, and one follows the other. And one nivritti from one need not mean the end of it. No, it can mean going into something else. So that is the way to understand this. So only if you have abhyudaya can you go into the nishrayas. You can, let's say you don't have anything. Can you say I will give up everything that I have? You can give up everything only when you have something. That nishrayas will come to you, can be taken only when you want to give up something. To give up something, you should have something to begin with. Right? Yes, Chitra Madhya wanted to ask some question.
So without doing work, if right now I'm in India, Mahodaya, if I go to my son's house without work, I stayed 6 months.
Yeah. No, okay. You are a Bhagavad Gita student, you should know this, no? Is there a state of no work?
Only this,
There is no
class
state of no work, no
In that-
action.
No, hold on. Sushila Madhya, hold on. Chitra Madhya was saying something.
What type of action, Mahodaya, you are asking? But studying Bhagavatam.
No, hold on. Is there a state of no work?
No, not possible. No.
Not
Internal-
possible, no. There is something that is going on, no?
Yes.
Yeah, mind.
So in which case, when you say you went somewhere and did nothing, that means that you are doing something before that.
Okay.
You changed that work to something else. You might have changed your activity to, instead of studying something, you are probably sleeping. Can you say sleeping is not work?
Yeah, it is work for me.
If you say whether it is meaningful or not meaningful is a different question. Or what is the meaning that you are deriving out of it is a very different question.
Yeah.
Okay, but there is that whether there is abhyudaya or nishrayas, where it is leading to is something that you have to define. Correct? Yes. Somebody else raised their hand. Somebody else wanted to ask something. Any other things that you want to be discussed? Any other points?
No, I was just saying there is no state as actionlessness.
Yeah, there is no
Because
state
you
as
are
action.
sitting quietly, your mind is running, you're breathing. There's so many things happening within your body and outside the body. So there is no state of actionlessness. That's what I wanted to say.
Yeah, there is no state of action. Even in Sushupti, you are there. You were there, rather. Correct? Okay. So, yaha saha dharmaha. Give me a minute. Please hold on for a minute. Sorry about that. Yeah. So, yahasa dharmaha brahmanadhyaihi varnibihi ashtramibihi cha shreyaha arthibihi anushthiyamanaha dheergena kalena. This is what Acharya Shankara has called out. So, what is that dharma? That dharma is pravritti lakshana and nivritti lakshana, which leads to abhyudaya and nishreyas. And who are following it? Brahmanadhyaihi. All the varnibihi, all those in all the varnas, all the 4 varnas. All those in the ashrama. Grahastha, Vanaprastha, Brahmacharya, any ashrama. Shreyaha, arthibihi, wanting any meaning. See, Arthibihi is one way is material wealth. But drawing meaning out of any action is also, Artha means meaning, no? What is that meaning that you are deriving out of any action? Anushtiyamanaha. One who is following these things. One is to be disciplinedly following this dirghena kalena for a long period of time. Okay. So there are two forms of, in Veda, it is said there are two forms of dharma. This is basically what he's saying. Pravritti Lakshana and Nivritti Lakshana. That is the reason for Sthiti Karana. That is the reason for this world to be the way it is. Sakshat Abhyudayaha Nishtreyasaha. Both for your mental, physical upliftment. So your mental upliftment comes through both material and non-material needs also. Let's say, for instance, you have a lot of material wealth, but there are other needs. You need to be cared for, you need to be loved, you need to be cherished, you want people to be around you. So many things are there. Right? That's where the need versus want. Somebody put it beautifully. Need versus want. Food is a need. I just saw some, this forward somewhere it came. Food is a need. But what you eat as food is a want. Seeking a caring and loving environment around you is a need. But what is that environment is a want. Correct? If you start accepting whatever comes as part of your ecosystem and say, I'll accept wherever that affection is coming from, wherever that food is coming from, whatever form of food is coming from, then that becomes a very Brahmarpanam. So that is a very beautiful way of putting it out. Right? So this is the basic concept of our Sanatana Dharma that holds. Although it sounds very contradictory statement that, one is without the other, but you cannot get the other without going through the first. So without going through the Pravritti Lakshana, you cannot get to the Nivritti Lakshana. Right? It's like, it's like saying whether I should write the exam or I should pass the exam. Can I pass the exam without writing it? So if you have to pass the exam, then you have to write the exam first. So that is how this comes out. So there is a necessary condition, which is the Pravritti Lakshana and Abhyudaya. The sufficient condition, having gone through this necessary condition, the sufficient condition, if you go by mathematical terms, there is what is called a sufficient condition. There's a necessary condition, then there's a sufficient condition. Okay. Only when both of these are satisfied, then you get to that Nishreyas. Right? That what is called the eternal happiness. This is what Acharya Shankara says. Okay. Okay. Now, we spoke about today, we just went about one, what was that previous shloka? Give me a minute. Hold on again. Shamyata. Yeah. Okay. So we were seeing this one. What is that? Yeah. Makurud Sarvam Harati Nimeshat Kalaha Sarvam Harati. At some point, everything is going to go away. Correct. So for this, there's a beautiful this one in Rigveda. So that's what I wanted to show you here. This is what we just saw. See, punarjayamano purani samanam varnam abhishumbhamana shvagniva krutnarvijami nana martasya devi jarayantyayuho. At the outset, what does this mantra appear to you people? Any thoughts? It's a beautiful mantra, no? Punaf punarjayamano purani samanam varnam abhishumbhamana shvagniva krutnarvijami nana martasya devi jarayantyayuho. Have you heard this anywhere? Never?
No, not.
Any Ashirvachana?
Don't know what it means.
Yeah, what it means, I'll just explain. See, okay, this is usually used in a Ashirvachana mantra. People give this as this one. You know what it is saying? Punaha jayamana purani samanam varnam abhishumbhamana. Just as much as what Acharya Shankara just said. Dinya minyau sayam prata punarayatah shishira vasantau punarayatah. Shvagniva krutnarvija aminana. It is very, very beautifully saying. Okay. Usha Devi is being worshipped here. Okay. Usha Devi comes again and again. Every morning you see the Usha Devi, no? Okay. With bright hue, we all look forward to the Usha Devi coming. Correct? But how does she come? She comes by cutting away one day of our lives. And we will look forward to her, welcoming her. It's not a pessimistic statement. It's a very, very profound statement. Okay. How is she cutting away? How beautifully is she cutting away? Shvagniva krutnarvija aminana. Like taking away feather from a bird. Okay. Clipping the bird's wings with just one feather at a time. I'm just taking away one more day, one more feather. What will happen to you? And you look forward to it. You're looking forward. We are all looking forward to that Usha Devi's sunrise in the morning. Nobody says, I don't want a sunrise in the morning, right? Okay. So the essential message that Acharya is also giving is a lifetime is nothing but how we are preparing ourselves to that end moment called death. Every mantra, everything will lead us to this. It is full of material wealth. Enjoy yourself. Go through a beautiful journey. You know, there is this Anobhadra Sukta which says, you know, Putra yatra pitaro yatra traso yatra pitaro bhavanti mano yatra ayujir. It goes on. I have forgotten that mantra. Okay, so it says, you know, there it says, until your child has produced your grandchild, you want to enjoy your life, and it says, don't cut out my life so far, or don't even cut out that child, my son's life, till I see all I'm seeing all the generations that I can see. And even the last day should be enjoyed fully. Pashyema sharadashatam, jivema sharadashatam, modama sharadashatam, nandama sharadashatam. It goes on. But then, at the back of your mind, prepare for that moment called death. So that is what is very critically coming out in all our mantras, all the things that we do. Okay. So I said we'll just discuss something on death and the way, why Pitrupaksha, why this one today. Right. So as we saw, it's a very clear thing. Dinaya minyo sayam pratha shishira vasanto ayataha. It comes and goes. Kalaha kridati. Kalaha kridati. Let me pull that. Yeah. Kalaha kridati gacchati ayuhu. Tadapi pramunchati ashavayu. Okay, so this is what we saw. So what is people's understanding of death? Let's hear out some concepts of death that we know. Any thoughts?
End of life.
End of life. Okay, end of life. So what is life then?
You
So
don't
daily
breathe
our
anymore.
life.
1 minute. Srividya Madhya have order. Parvati Madhya.
Yeah, daily Kala is taking away one day of our life. So we are inching closer to death.
So what is death? Then what is life? What is death? That is the question that comes up.
When you stop breathing and you're just a body, you're not a person anymore.
We are not a person anymore. Okay.
Body.
Okay. We are just the body. Give me a minute again. I think too many disturbances today. Shamyata. Okay. So, yeah, Parvati Madhya was saying end of life. Srividya Madhya said going away. Okay. So, what is that? What is that thing that comes? How many of us, we have all seen somebody dying, no, at some point.
We can't say end of life.
Huh.
Because some people have experienced afterlife, that afterlife experience. Even after the death of the body, they feel like not in the coma stage, like in critical condition of the body, they felt like they left the body. But everyone around, they can't react, but they will somehow in the other state, like floating or moving away from the body, like that.
So that's what extreme state.
There is some life, but in another state.
So for the like time being, let's take this body, the state of this body, and beyond that body state. Can we call that? Right. So in which case, whatever is, when you are in this body, you have a life force called prana. Okay, I am assuming all of you know about the Panchavayus. How does this whole thing happen? Let's look at it from a very scientific. All of us have emotional value to death. Correct. All of us have seen fear, emotions, have seen, people going through trauma at some point. There are both cases have happened where people have died without, where you don't expect them to die and then you feel very bad. There are other instances, other extremes are where you want them to die because they're suffering so much and give up that body. Both states have been seen. Right. So there are a lot of emotional aspects to it. I'll just bring out some perspectives that are Shastras have been telling and very objectively saying this. They are not saying this with any, objectively what happens. Okay, this is what it is. So we are all aware of this concept of Pancha Prana. Right?
Pancha Prana or Bhuta?
Prana. Bhuta, Pancha Bhutas are this Prithvi, Ap, Tejo, Vayu. Okay. Right. That is Bhutas. Bhutas are different. The tanmatras are associated with it. That's what gives us the sense of Gnanendriya. Right? This body is this body. Okay, yeah. Okay, let me take your. Now that you brought this up, this body is made up of the Panchabhutas. Do you all agree?
Hmm.
And that's given that it's a combination of these five. I wouldn't say base material.
Elements.
Element, probably some chemistry person will come and say, no, it is not an element, etc. So I will use the word base material. Okay. So because our understanding of the Panchabhutas are very, very gross, in fact. Because if you look at, so it goes, the Taittiriya Upanishad says, Akashat, Vayuho, Vayor, Agnihi, Agde, Rapaha, Apya, Prithivi. That's how it comes. So Akasha is space. Now, how many of you can imagine space? Imagine space. Okay, all of us are sitting in some form of a closed enclosure, right? Is that space?
Yes, I think so.
It is space.
Yeah.
It is space. Okay.
Where
Now
it
suppose.
starts and it ends with
Huh?
nobody knows. Where it starts, where it ends, nobody knows.
No, that is not the point. You have an enclosure and that you call a space. Correct? We're all sitting in that space. We are occupying something called space. Right? Suppose I knock off all these walls. What will then happen?
It is still space.
It is still space. Now, what is space? The space here and the space outside are technically not very different. Right? We have constructed something around and called it some room or kitchen or bathroom, bedroom, whatever we want to call it. Essentially, it's the same space. That is point number one. The second thing is that space, okay, you are there, probably a fan is there, I can see fan in some places, I can see some light bulb, etc., etc., etc. Is that space, apart from all the material things that are around, devoid of everything?
No, there's Vayu.
There is Vayu. There is air surrounding. If there is no air, then we cannot exist there. Right? Now, is there only Vayu?
Agni.
Agni.
Where is Agni?
Agni is prevalent
Inside
in all for it is in what indirect form.
How?
All living beings.
Because it is spread everywhere. I mean,
How?
only when what is Agni? Agni or the burning of it is only when the fuel or the material to burn is come in contact with that Agni. It burns.
Okay, let me change that. I think last time I defined Agni.
You also it is there in that Agni.
So
Digestive juices also, you said.
I redefined Agni to be a thermodynamic process.
Yes.
The moment I redefine that, it is not a spark or it is not a fire that is burning. A thermodynamic process is necessarily going on in that room. Do we all agree?
Yes. That's what Agni is also in the form of that.
If we have a body and that is radiating some heat, because it's maintained, say there is a homeostasis. The body is maintaining a temperature, homeostasis is being maintained, which means there's a constant interaction of the body with the outside world. It is performing some work by digesting the food and maintaining the temperature by interacting with the outside world.
Yes.
So there is a form of Agni that is prevalent there. Right?
That's
In
how
that
they
space.
use in surveillance, they find out people where they're human beings, when they see the heat thing.
Infrared.
Yeah. No, not
Heat
infrared.
signature. Okay.
No,
Heat signature.
heat,
You're right.
Yeah, heat
Heat
signature.
signature.
Thermal imaging.
Yeah, thermal
imaging.
images. Yeah.
Yeah, we do
There
that.
is Agni.
Yeah, there is a form of Agni there, right? And so we have covered space, we have covered Vayu, there is Agni. Okay. Water.
in our body,
moisture in the air.
in the body itself.
No. I'm just talking of the space.
There is moisture in the air.
Are there.
Moisture is there in the air. Agreed. So any thermodynamic process will have some form of usually it is in the form of water here, but it's not necessarily water, but it's in the form of something.
Yes.
Right? Prithvi is the gross matter. Prithvi, don't take it as earth. That's a very wrong. Any solid state. Particulate matter, it exists. Now, there's a very beautiful concept of what is called Panchikarana. How does the word prapancha come?
Sorry?
Prapancha.
Panchapat we get
Made of 5
Five
elements.
elements.
Exactly.
Element.
Prapancha is only made of 5 elements. That's why Vishwa is different from Prapancha. See, that's why Sanskrit is very a language where nothing is uselessly brought in. No redundancies.
What is Vishwa?
Okay, we'll come to that. We'll discuss that. Will take it in a very different direction. I'll bring it some other time. Okay, so Vishwa in some sense is the Brahmanda, you can call it, but it's not the Brahmanda again. So I'll have to define it again. So Prapancha is easier. We'll stick to Prapancha because our discussion is around Prapancha and the Pancha Pranas today. Okay, so there's a concept of Panchikarana. For instance, if you take Akasha for instance, 1/2 of that is the pure space. Okay. Now, please pay attention. 1/8 of the other 4 elements. What is 1/8 plus 1/8 plus 1/8 plus 1/8 equal to? 1/8 plus 1/8.
32. 1/32.
How?
No.
5/8.
Half.
Half.
Yeah.
Half plus half. Only what you see as your actual space around is 1/2. The other half is made up of the other 4 elements or other 4 base tattvas. Okay, so that is what is called Panchikarana. So even in a gross matter, what you see as mud, for instance, that has a combination of solid matter plus 1/8 plus 1/8 plus 1/8 plus 1/8 of the others. So that is a concept. It's a very beautiful concept that comes in Atmaprodha. That's how Panchikarana happens. Many things. So if you see something to be very solidly lying there, please say that, it is not pure, don't call it Prithvi. Okay, that is a combination of this plus that. Our body is a combination of these 5 base tattva. Yes, Parvati Mama, you're saying something?
No, I said Panchabhuta. You said no.
Panchabhutas in some proportions. It's not exactly, as we know, it's about 70% of it is water, plus, and it goes on to make this form. It's exactly the same as it is in the universe outside. Okay. We have so much of space also with it. So that is the gross body that we know of. Correct. So now that you brought about Panchabhuta, so now we understand this Panchabhuta. Now, we are what are called Jivatma. This was the concept I was trying to bring out last time as well. See, I am not the body. We all can understand that. I am not the body. Anybody disputes this? Nagaprabha Madhya disputed this some time back. But anybody else who disputes this? Everybody agrees?
Concept of what is I itself is the
question. We'll get to that I later. But I am not the body. That much at least I can very clearly say. My eyes, my phone. The phone is different from me. Right? So that concept is very different. So that I am residing in this body is a true statement. True. And this is a vehicle for some purpose. Let's take it as a vehicle for some purpose. Now this, when it is there, it has to be, when we take something, it has to be returned back. That is the concept. That's a general concept that we all believe in, no? Nobody says that if you have borrowed something, you should not return it back. Is there anybody who says that? Everybody believes that it has to be returned back. That's a very natural force that comes in. Please note, it is there in every irrespective of human beings or a prani or anything, it is there. If it takes something, it has to be returned back. Same thing applies to the body as well. And that's why we have various forms, whether you put it in, whether you take a pit and put it in there, or you return it by burning it, however, whatever forms you want to take. The Zoroastrians, in fact, put it up on top of a roof to be eaten up by other this one. Okay, so various ways of it, various ways of dealing with it are there. So now comes, how does this I exist in the body and how does it go out of the body? Second level question we can answer. That much we can do, because that is something that we keep seeing day in and day out. Beyond that will require a lot more sadhana. Okay. So this I, how does it get into the body and how does it get out of the body? We all have understood this concept of Pancha Prana. We all know that there exists Pancha Pranas.
I haven't heard.
Okay. Shalini Maudhya, you want to elaborate a little? Vanimtrika
Unmute,
Mukhamasti.
Sorry, there are 5 pranas that prana vayus. You were talking of prana vayus,
Yes,
Karthik Mohdaya?
yes.
So there are 5 vayus, 5 kind of vayus that that basically regulate the body mechanism. Why to give them the details, sir? I mean, they'll just get confused. We are adding on to new. So 5 vayus. So there is
Give us
this
a chance.
yeah. So the movement in the body, whatever movement happens in the body is regulated by these 5 vayus. For example, there is this movement of the food going down the alimentary canal. After we swallow it from the mouth, we can maximum exert pressure till the throat. From there onwards, it's taken up by the vayu. So different vayus. So then there is also another vayu. Sometimes we puke. So that is another vayu that causes the food to come.
Any idea which is that vayu?
So I haven't revised this concept in a very long while. There is you just give me one name and then the rest will also come.
Okay, I'll just explain it differently.
Yeah. So
there is,
I can't recall. Yeah. So they are divided in the first half of the body. There is one that pervades everywhere, and then there is one that pervades till here, one till the chest, one till the stomach. One. But I've forgotten the names because it's been a very long time. I haven't revised this concept.
That's the exactly, you're right. So that's the Ayurvedic way of putting it out. But let me put it out in a different way.
Then what are the chakras? Is there a difference between the chakra and
that's a very different thing.
Chakras are energy junctions.
Yeah.
That is different. Where the subtle nadis meet. Nadis that you cannot see with the eye. 72,000 Patanjali says, and there is another Veda which says 5 lakhs. So there are energy points around this.
That is clear. That's cleared out.
That is different. That is
72,000 leading into another 72,000 branching out. So that's how it comes to. Okay, so the chakras are very different. That's a different concept. That's an energy center point. But prana itself is, you have a prana vayu. Have you heard of prana and apana?
Is prana, apana, udana. Now they're coming. 2 more.
Samana and
Samana.
Okay. So you have
Vayan. There is one Vayan also.
Yeah. Okay. So we start with prana, which is basically your
inhalation.
Prana and inhalation,
exhalation.
Prana and apana, that basically regulates most of the body requirements. That is our interaction with the external world. Frankly, the internal control is only through that. All your sense organs and karmendriya and gyanendriya are just nothing without this prana. Even though they're controlled by the mind, which is more sukshma, it is more subtle than the prana, but the quintessential is the prana. Do we all agree that if there is no prana vayu, that means the person is dead? Correct? If that person, that is how they check. No, there is no inhalation and exhalation in that person. Right? That is the way any pulse is checked out for life or death. Prana and apana. Okay, so there is prana is your inhalation, basically your required oxygen intake, if I were to say, and apana is your exhalation, which is your excreting out all that is unnecessarily thrown out. Okay. Now, these two form the critical functions. That is the life force throughout which happens. Then there is a concept called Vyana. What is Vyana? How many of you have heard of this term? Yeah, Sri Vidya Madhya.
energy circulation.
energy circulation, I'll change that a little. How many of you heard of a term RNA? How many of you heard of mRNA? Messenger RNA. The Vyana is essentially the one which takes around the circulation of anything and everything throughout the body. The messenger part of it is played by that Vyana. Then there is a Samana, as Shalini Mahodaya pointed out. That is the one which helps that, food digestion to create the reservoir around the stomach area, which creates that and ensures that the energies, what is that? Mitochondria, is it? Jayapalabhika Mahodaya can clarify.
Yeah.
Mitochondria
mRNA,
Mitochondria
in the cell, which transfers the energy into that form and stores it there. Okay. That is the Samana Vayu. Then there is what is called a Udana Vayu. So the way any Udana Vayu is basically your immune system. Basically, it actually, triggers the immune system to do something. Let us say you put if you want, you can try the simple experiment. Don't take any foreign object. Take a hair, that's good enough. Try to put it on your tongue. See what happens. Start coughing. It's not even gone to the throat. It just comes somewhere near the tongue. Or something, some filthy air is blowing and you're passing by. What starts happening? So the Udana Vayu has two functions basically. One function is to eject out something that is not right for the body. How does it know not right for the body? It is defined at two levels. One, we have certain biases that are built in the chitta. That is, the mind has some control over that. That is like the filthy air and other things that keep coming. The second way is basically those that are necessarily harming the body, like the hair. It's your own body hair, probably. Try to put it on your tongue. Even a child will start coughing and trying to getting it out. It will do all sorts of things to get it out. It has enough mechanisms. Either throw it out, vomit it out, excrete it out, any mechanism it will bring out to make sure the foreign particle is out. That is one. But the reason why Udana Vayu exists is basically to take your Jivatma out of the body. That is the way the life force goes out of the body. The moment it says time up, it packs up everything, prana, apana stop. This is the one that comes and the last breath goes out. That's it. Chandogya Upanishad. Yeah.
We have a shloka in Bhagavad Gita also for this.
Yeah. What is that?
Something with Navadvare, something.
Are you referring to?
Something like that.
No. Aham Vaishwanaro Bhutva Praninam Deham Ashritaha Pranapana Samayuktam Bhajami Annam Chaturvitam is different.
That is Vaishwanara Agni.
That is the Vaishwanara Agni. Vaishwanaro Bhutva, that's a different shloka. I think she is referring to the 9th chapter shloka.
4th chapter it is there, Mahodaya. 4th chapter. 4th chapter.
What is that? That is, that is Ahuti. That is Yajna. That is says Prana, Pana, Juhoti, etc.
Yeah.
That is a Yajna Karya. That is different. I think Srividya Mahodaya is referring to the
Apane Juhati Pranam.
Apane Juhati Pranam. That's what I said.
That is
That is the Yajna. Yeah, that's the Yajna. You take all the prana also as a form of Yajna. That's a different this one. I think what Srividya Mahodaya is referring to the 9th chapter. There is Akshar Brahma Yoga, how it goes out. Either of the two. We can bring that shloka, we'll see what it is. Okay. So this is how the whole system happens. The Udana Vayu is what takes it out and says end of story. In fact, that's why a strong Udana Vayu is very, very important. It will figure out what to do and what not to do. You can run companies based on Udana Vayu proper. If you are not getting the right thing out of the body at the right time, you can get into trouble. The Udana Vayu is responsible for these five things, this thing. Okay. So yeah, Chandogya Upanishad brings out if your Udana Vayu escapes through what part of the body and how you are going to come back onto this earth based on your karma. That again goes into a big karma cycle. If it goes out of the ear, if it goes out of the eye, Navadvarat Pure Dehi, out of any of these 9 places, only if it goes to the Brahmarandra, it is like Mukti. That is the clear, this one that is called out in Chandogya Upanishad. Okay. So the concept of death is about leaving the body out. Now there exists something called Punarjanma that we saw already. Based on your karma, you come back, you go, you do all sorts of, that's a going on in cycles and cycles and cycle. It goes on and on and on. Right? And that is through, it comes through Punaravartino Arjuna. It comes. And, Arjuna asked a very beautiful question. What is that? What if I'm, there is this in 6th chapter. All this is nice. You have said all this very beautifully. Then what happens if I do all this yoga? You said perfect, be righteous, be very good, do all these nice things. What? And you said you surrender, you do all the things. What if my time is up before I get mukti? I will die. I mean, if you die before you get mukti, what will happen to me? I mean, neither did you enjoy life, nor do I know what will happen after this life. Very, very practical question, no? I could have at least enjoyed it, not spend time in going through all this. So Krishna answers it beautifully.
In the next life.
Yeah, in the next this one. It says you'll come back in a very, very right yoni, which will be conducive for you to continue the journey. So it is a very reassuring thing that continuity is always maintained in our whole scheme of things. It is not a discrete, we are not into discrete measures. We have a discrete measure when we move out and come back. Yes, to that extent, we are all discretized. And the way the memory is functioned is programmed is, delete out the past history, past memory. Now, as Nagaprabha Mahodaya was saying, there are a lot of people who are jnanis, Brahmagnanis, who have attained the Brahmagnani, and then they recollect what had happened to them even in their previous life. And keep on, that continuity keeps on happening. Simple example, how do you explain a 3-year-old child singing beautifully without having been taught anything? We see these examples day in and day out. There is nothing that is taught, nothing that comes up, etc., but still that child is able to perform, the child is able to do so many things. How do you explain child prodigies?
See, even Shakuntala, I mean, how are they able to do those complicated mathematical? There are so many people like that.
Yeah, that is your purva. So this is a proof that continuity exists. That's all. So there is continuity beyond this life. How you come back, how you do, etc. It goes on. Now, to that extent, we have seen this to be in practice. Now, beyond this, you need a bit of Shraddha to say that, yes, this will exist. Given that this is true, whatever other things are also being said is also true. That's by induction we can make that conclusion, no? We have a concept called induction in mathematics. If everything until point n is true, n plus 1 is also going to be true. It is not going to be it is not going to fall off. Suppose everything till n has happened, then n plus 1 is also going to happen. Right? You may not say that n plus 15 will happen or not is a probability. That's a different story. But n plus 1 is definitely going to go there. Once you get to that n plus 1, you can again recursively start. Once that happens, you can go to the n plus 2 state once you are in the n plus 1 state. Right? So it goes on. So that Shraddha comes in, and that is where very clearly for us, we call this, Shanti. Whenever somebody passes away, especially, you say Shanti. What is Shanti? What is Shanti? What is the meaning of the term Shanti?
Popularly, we will say peace.
Rest.
Bad. Huh?
Rest.
Rest. Okay.
Peace in activity. Peace is in popular this thing, but inactivity or inertness, or turning
Inertness.
inertness basically. Not no act, like no andolan.
Absence of activity.
Absence of activity.
So the Shanti comes from Samadhana. Calmness. Calming effect. Anything that has a calming effect is what is Shanti. Can anybody define the term calm? It is very difficult. But can we experience calm?
Yes.
Right. So any calm.
Sorry,
state.
Modi, I'll have to leave. I'm so sorry.
Okay.
Yes, I have to leave.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
So the calm state is what brings about Shanti. Right. So that brings to the question, what is that calm state? What comes as Samadhana? And that is our Shad. If we go back, I think we started this discussion about 6 or 7 sessions back. You know, Shad Sampat. We said,
Shama-damadi.
Uparati, Titiksha, Shraddha.
Shraddha. And you left the last one.
It was Shraddha. From Shraddha to Samadhana is a big leap. Unless you have a Shraddha, you cannot get to Samadhana. Can we all experience calmness just by, say, with an agitated mind? How do you get that state of Samadhana is the question that people have always thought about in India and have given very beautiful answers to it. So what is Samadhana? Let's just go through this term called Samadhana, and that is where comes the question of Pitrupaksha. I'll link that to this. Yes, Parvati.
So when they say somebody has attained Samadhi, this is from Samadhana?
No. Samadhi is a step beyond Samadhi.
Beyond Samadhi. Okay.
So that's why, if you go to Ashtanga Yoga, Dhyana Dharana Samadhi. Dharana is there. So Dharana will come only with Samadhana. Once you get Dharana only, then you can get into that calm state.
And Dharana is?
We'll come to that. Hold on. Nigrihitasya manasaha shravanadau tat anuguna vishayecha samadhihi samadhanam. So, okay. Yeah, this is where your question comes. Is samadhi samadhana? So, sarvada sthapanam buddhehe shuddhehe brahmani sarvada. So, essentially, one who is established in that Brahman. One who is always in that Aradhana state. Tat samadhanam iti uktam natu chittasya lalanam. So, this chittasya lalanam is basically, it is called, itching to do something. See, there is a physical itch. If you are hurt, sometimes when it is healed, when it is mostly 75% healed, it starts itching. And there is a very strong desire to itch. Correct? No, all of us have felt this at some point. There's a strong desire to itch because if you itch, it will come out and it gives you a lot of, some form of satisfaction. But it opens up the wound and it creates a bigger problem. It starts bleeding, it starts creating pus, etc. You can see it in children. Especially children, when it is healed, when it is black and it's dried up, the wound is dried up, they'll go and start, slowly they'll start scratching. Yes, Parvati Mhodaya.
Please, can we read that thing slowly once more? Nigrihitasya manasa. Yeah.
Nigrihitasya manasaha shravanadau tad anuvishaye cha samadhihi iti samadhanam. Yeah, I'll explain this. Hold on. Nigrihita. Manas is in full control.
Nigraha.
One, the mind which is in full control. A fully controlled mind, Shravanadau. Shravana is basically hearing, but hearing here refers to all the 5 sense organs. In spite of hearing and seeing and feeling and then smelling and tasting and doing everything, that anuguna vishaye, say, let us say you are, it is immaterial what you are tasting now. You are in a common state, whether you are tasting a bitter neem leaf or whether you are tasting a jaggery or you are tasting something which is very tasty for you. It is, you are showing a level of indifference to these things. You understand the difference between indifference and not caring?
Yeah. Is that like the Dhamma you told us?
That is different.
Okay.
See, indifference is, there is a level of ignoring in Dhamma. There's a difference between ignoring and indifference.
Okay. Yeah, I got it. Yeah.
Right? So this is indifference. So the indifference, if you have that indifference in that state, that leads you to samadhi. And that is what is samadhana. Okay. So if say that is where chittasi lalanam comes. I'll explain what is chittasi lalanam. Let us say you put a speck of, a small piece of jaggery on your tongue. Let us assume that you like jaggery or you like Mysore pak or you like jamun or something. Put it. Okay. You eat it. You relish it. It's good. Fine. Second, when it is coming, now if there is a hope that, if only there is that jamun, if only there is that jaggery. That is not an indifferent attitude. That is a level of, that, as I said, desirous to itch, desirous to scratch that itch. Right? The itch is a very, as I said, itch and pain are all bodily functions that will come. But the desire, can I go and scratch? Do I need to hold myself back from scratching? If that doesn't happen, and if let's say a neem leaf is put on your tongue, there also you don't get into that hope that if only it is not put next time. When that is not there, that level of samadhana, if you can get, that is samadhana.
Seems next to impossible.
Right? It's not so impossible. You can always, we have, see, at small little levels, at small little junctures, instantaneously, we've all experienced this. Let us say you're giving up something for a bigger cause. You don't mind it. We've all taken it. So now what is being told here? Take up the cause to be so big that the creator of the universe, you are becoming the creator of the universe itself. It goes beyond the universe. So imagine a cause that is you are giving up for the universe now. You are giving up for your brothers, you are giving up for your sister, for your parents, for your husband, for your children, for your wife, etc., etc., etc. Now transcend these. Give up that cause for the sake of, say, some bigger, create that circle bigger and bigger and bigger. This vortex starts at the bottom, goes up and helix, it keeps on going, no? Create it to such a big thing where it goes to infinity. So if that becomes your cause, then you can become indifferent. Then it doesn't matter whether it is, you're getting jaggery or whether it is neem, whatever comes, you'll take it as Bhagavad Prasada. And what is that state appearing to be? That is beautifully explained in Bhagavad Gita. What is that state? How do you experience that state? What is the semblance for that state? Can we see it anywhere? Says, Apuryamanam achala pratishtam samudram apaha pravishanti yadvat tadvat kama yam pravishanti sarve sa shantim apnoti na kama kami. Okay, I'll explain this. A lot of you might have heard this shloka. It's a very common shloka that keeps coming up on and off. How many of you have gone to a mouth of a river? Mouth of a river, have you all ventured which place? Parvati Maria.
Talakaveri.
Huh?
Yeah.
No, that is not the mouth of the river. That is the where the Kaveri originates. Mouth of the river is where it enters the ocean.
sea. Yeah.
Enters the sea.
Oh, I have gone. Okay.
Yeah, I have seen recently.
Kumbh Ghat.
Yeah. Where have you seen it?
It's near our place.
Yes, Udupi. Correct.
Hejmadi beach.
Correct. Hejmadi beach
There's
is
a river that
correct.
meets the
Yes,
ocean.
there's a road on one side. The road is in the center. One side river is coming. The other side the Arabian Sea is there. It merges. Right? That's the place you're talking about, no?
We just went to the bush. Where did we go? In Orissa, we went to this mangrove thing. We were there last year.
Bhitarkanika.
Yeah, Mahanadi enters there at some point. Okay.
Yeah, we have been there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now imagine, all of you have seen at least. Okay.
I have gone to Kaveri Sangam.
Kaveri Sangam. You have seen the Kaveri Delta. Beautiful, right? Now, let's just take the western side. Start with Ganga and Brahmaputra. How big are those rivers?
Very big.
Very big. Then comes your Mahanadi. Equally big. Godavari. Krishna, Godavari merge together and go and, right?
The Bay of Bengal, yeah.
Go into the Bay of Bengal. Then you get Kaveri. All these rivers with so much of water are gushing into the ocean every single instant. Now the question, that point that Krishna is saying is, have you ever seen the sea say, oh, I am fed up with all this, I am going to just come out of this whole thing. I am going to flood the plains. Is the sea ever saying that? Tsunami is a different concept. Please don't mistake tsunami for this. Tsunami is very different. Tsunami is because of the earthquake that happens. There's a disturbance. That is not because of
increasing. Ocean levels are increasing, but
no, that's a different thing. Ocean levels are increasing because of snow cap melting, and that also is not increasing at the pace that everybody is saying. That's a different story. We'll get into that later. Okay, but for the rivers having entered, are the seas saying I can't take it anymore, or is it rising? So that is the point that Krishna is saying. Apuryamanam achalam pratishtham. It is there. The level remains the same. Irrespective of how much water is entering it, Samudra, pravishanti yadvat. Apaha pravishanti yadvat. So much of water is entering the ocean, still the ocean is able to take all the water. How it is balancing is its problem. It's doing enough of its work. Similarly, if all your desires are entering you and still you are not going to be shaken at all, that is Shanti. Interesting concept. Okay. So I think if it's been a little heavy session, so this is where the concept of Shanti and Samadhana comes in. Okay. Now what happens when you leave the body without that Shanti and Samadhana? Without that state of tranquility and equanimity, that anything comes, I am not going to be disturbed. Can anybody say that? Even at the time of death, it is going to be difficult. Do we all agree? Yes. Yes. Because that person, a lot of people, if you see, they're all fighting to live back. They're fighting death at some levels. So if that equanimity is not there, that means it is not going out with a sense of samadhana. Now that samadhana has to be brought in. That is the whole concept of Pitrupaksha.
Concept of?
Pitrupaksha.
Pitrupaksha.
Where you say, okay, fair enough, there are certain things. So we'll offer certain things. It could be just simple food and whatever is being offered and so many things are being done. So there is a whole concept. I'm not getting into the techniques of it and the technique behind the whole thing. But you need to ensure that those are being quenched at some level. Those desires, they come back and then, it goes, that cycle continues.
The desires of the previous generation or your desire? Whose desires are you trying to quench? The previous?
The previous, the
the
one who have departed.
ancestors. Yeah.
See, ancestors, so the Pitrus refer to the ancestors because we consider it comes from the Pitru, but it usually refers to anybody who's left. Anything and everybody, you just remember and start doing a lot of things. First of all, it's a function of gratitude. You need to express a lot of gratitude for whatever has happened. We are there because of them. I mean, it is not that we could have come randomly without without them being there. As a part of that reciprocation duty-based society, it starts and says, you start with this, offer certain thing back, go back, right? And this is only place where it does not exist is probably in the Semitic religions. I have not, but in most of the ancient religions that you come across, even in the South American, I'm sure Fran Mahadia can elaborate further. You have a lot of it being done for the ancestors. Africa is full of it.
China is also like that.
Yeah, China, East Asia, a lot of it is there.
Yes.
Japan, China, all these places are there.
Oriental countries for
So this concept is very important. Basically, you are saying, yes, thank you at one level and saying, let me know how I can help you in any which way. Because I am endowed with something, you are endowed with something else. So that is a very, very important thing. And that's where this whole thing comes. So once in a year, it goes by the Ritu and all that. So I'm not getting into the Jyotisha part of it. There's a very deep science behind why it is only at this point of time and not at some other time. And why it is a end of the rainy season. Bhadrapada Krishna is when that Paksha is that's when it is done. And then one more Paksha comes from January before the Uttarayana. So there is a very deep science behind all these things. Okay. Of course, things have to change. It is not like some things have been right and there have been certain mistakes that have happened, which I will not dispute. But the concept remains very firm. Yes, Parvati Mahodaya.
So only recently I've heard about this Pitru Paksha. Whereas in our families, on the date, the tithi of your grandfather, father, mother, it's done on those days.
Okay.
But we didn't know there's a common.
No. Let me explain that. That's very true. See, what happens is that, that day is one very important day. There it is done very elaborately on that day. Okay. And that is because it goes as, see, 1 month of one human month is equal to 1 day of one day for them. So 12 days. So you give it on one of the 12 days, 1 day. That is how it is taken, one meal. Then this is done at multiple levels. This is at a time when they are transcending and ascending. They also have a cycle. So this is related to this and also make up for whatever was not being done then. That's also there. But this is common. See, that particular day is for that particular person there. Here is common across. So this whole thing comes as to how they descend, how they come down, how it gets into the food. If they come, that's why Varsha is very important for us. The rains are very important. They come through the rain, then get into the food that we eat. That food is what gets into the human, and then that becomes the semen sap, and then that's how the progenate, and then that's how they come back. That's the return leg. The onward leg is also equally mapped out. So it's very deeply mapped out. It is not like you can say that this is all humbug and we just need to dump everything and go away. So that is 1 day of that year. Then the second leg is when they have descended and if they have not been able to get in and leaving. So this is a common, this one, which you generally offer to anybody who's departed. In fact, every single Amavasya, it is done.
Yeah, Tarpanam Devi.
It is done. It is not that it is not done on any other day. Okay. So that concept exists throughout. So it's our responsibility to take care of our lineage. Simple thing. And there lies a duty and a responsibility or our responsibility for them. So that is the concept here. So this is something that I wanted to talk. Next week, we'll talk a little more of Samadhana and move on to this one. Okay. So, how many of you are going to be busy with Dasra in the next week?
Everybody will be.
Huh? Everybody will be busy.
Traveling, Mahoday.
Traveling
Traveling.
and then
Yeah.
Golu, everything,
Golu.
Bombay.
Shlokas.
So do one thing, please. In which case, if you all have keep, I'm sure a lot of you will be keeping. So for those who don't know, for Nilima Modia and Fran Modia, we have a concept called where we keep these dolls. Dolls are beautifully decorated at this time. It starts from Thursday. For 10 days, it's fully decorated, beautifully decorated and beautifully. There are themes and ways it is decorated and it is prayed for. Devi is prayed in some form in those dolls and all in those days. Children are called home and a lot of things are done. So that is what is happening. That concept exists in North India as well. So those of you who are having dolls, please, please share, make a 2-minute video and share it. That's a good thing. We can all refresh ourselves. Okay. So next week happens to be Panchami, I think. So I think we'll not have the class on that day. We can all take a break and celebrate Panchami. And then from Saraswati Puja onwards, we can do a good this one and then come back. Yes. Yes. Any questions? Anything that you have? Okay. What I'll do the Mangalam. Om Swasti Prajabhyah Paripalayantam Nyayena Margena Mahimahishah Go Brahmaneभ्यो Shumastu Nityam Loka Samastha Sukhino Bhavantu Kale Varshita Parjanyah Prithvi Sasyashalini Eshoyam Shobharitaha Brahmana Sampirmaya Aputra Putrinak Santu Pautrinaha Adhanat Sadhanat Santu Jivantu Sharadam Shatam Harihi Om Shri Krishna Namaste.